What I'm going to do here today is give you a little introduction and information about the Attorney General's office and what we can do for you in the office other than come out and give presentations. So I get to do my least favorite thing today and my most favorite thing. My least favorite thing is I drove up from Columbus. Uneventful, thankfully. Favorite thing is coming out and talking to wonderful groups such as yourself. So the Attorney General's office, what our office does, is provide legal representation for state agencies. It's one thing. We support local law enforcement. Some of the ways that we do that is we have our Ohio Police Officers Training Academy, not too far from here in Richfield. And that allows law enforcement officials to gain continuing education throughout their career. So if you think of anyone's career, things change different from year 1 to year 30. So we're here to support them along the way. So the section that I work in, and selfishly think is the best section, is the consumer protection section. So some of the things that our attorneys work on: used car purchases. That's one of our big complaints that we receive. Strangely, particularly a lot in the general Cleveland area. Tons of complaints about folks that have purchased vehicles from buy here, pay here kind of lots, and generally the difficulty is receiving their title when they're supposed to receive their title. Misleading store ads. Well, we've gotten through the holiday season. Good job, everyone. And as you notice, particularly in the holiday season, there are a lot of advertisements out there. And if you happen to see an advertisement that maybe be for a television, possibly the size of this beautiful screen behind me, right? That does everything for you except for make your popcorn while you're watching the show, and they say it's only $200. And you kind of look and go, well, I know the cost of flat screens have come down, and fortunately the weight of them, but I don't think $200 is right. If there's only one unit in that store that is $200, they have to put that on the advertisement. And then home improvement work, we're kind of in the middle ground season for home improvement work right now, but sooner than you can say, is it going to rain, sleet, or hail today, it will be time for home improvement season. So if you have folks that come around and are interested in fixing a walkway, fixing window ledges, any of those kind of things, no, it is fine. But it is also in your best interest to do a little research before you hand over a check to them. Because at least once a year, our office is prosecuting contractors that so good at collecting deposits. If there was an Olympics for collecting deposits, they would get a gold. The whole doing all the work or completing it, that's where they tend to fall a little short. So, if you are interested in getting work done, or if you are helping family members get work done, know that you can check with the Better Business Bureau to see if there have been any complaints filed against them. You can also check with our office, either on the website or by calling our 800 number. And don't flinch. I'm going to mention the 800 number a couple of times. We have the absolute best folks who answer our phones. They are amazing. They know everything about the office. And if we can't help you, they know who can. So feel free and confident in calling the 800 number. Consumer complaints. This is one of the areas, in addition to outreach, that is outward facing for the office, that we can deal directly with our constituents. And what we call it is, and I always stumble over this, but it's an informal dispute resolution process. You can call and make a complaint. So if you call and say, you know, I've been trying to change my cell phone provider for the last 6 months and they will not let me go. They think I'm such a wonderful, person. They won't let me in my contract. How can you help me? That's one of the areas that we can help you. Our awesome specialists fielded over 24,000 complaints last year. And here are some of the categories that the complaints resided in. Now, contractors aren't required to pick up the phone or do anything. That's why it's an informal process. But we do find most legitimate contractors or companies, when someone calling or corresponding from the Ohio Attorney General's office contacts them, we tend to get a response. So we're here for you on that end. Before we get into specific consumer scams, one of the things that we found interesting, there are two other educators who do the same thing as I do in the office, and we get together about once a year to look at our presentations and think, how can we spruce stuff up a little bit? Is the information in here still relevant? One of the changes that we've made, rather than focusing our scam presentations on a specific demographic, is to look at how scammers were targeting different groups of people. So I wholeheartedly believe, even if you're not the target audience for a scam, you probably know someone in that target audience. And if you don't have anything else to talk to 18 to 34-year-olds about, here's a conversation starter. So we'll start with them. If you look at the categories, the younger folks, and I also admit there are 3 educators, we're between 50 and 55, and as I look at our categories, it looks like we conveniently left out our age demographic in it, but that's not true. That's just how the Better Business Bureau scam tracker broke down their information. So for the younger folks, it's probably not that surprising that employment scams are the #1 area where scammers are targeting folks 18 to 34 years old. That's one of the main concerns that folks in that age group have, is either getting that first job or advancing out of an entry-level job. Now, I will tell you, I was so excited that I received one of those scam text messages. So not only was I flattered that they thought I was between 18 and 34, thank you, but I got to see my very own scam text firsthand. It was from PayPal, and I mean, really, when you hear the offer they made me, you'll go, why did you drive up from Columbus today, Katie, when you could be working for PayPal? They said, we are searching out professionals to work 30 to 90 minutes a day. I mean, just stop right there. It took me more than 90 minutes to get here. By the time I left my house, got the state car, got everything taken over, found the parking lot, Somebody's going to help me find the parking lot on my way out, I hope. So here's the first one. 30 to 90 minutes. Awesome. And 4 days a week, a minimum of making $900 a week, but with potential bonuses. They mentioned you get all statutory holidays off, including paternity leave. I was like, well, if that is an AI sentence, I've never heard another one. Because most job postings I see, benefits are not called statutory requirements. Anyway, so they go on to say, I get all this time off as well. And the only qualifications that you need for this wonderful job is you have to be 25 and responsible. So somehow this scammer mashed up PayPal, a normal job application, and I'm guessing a car rental form to give me this wonderful opportunity. So that's the younger set. The more experienced set, as I'm inching closer and closer to it, 55 years old and older, you'll notice there's investment cryptocurrency on the younger side and investment cryptocurrency on the experienced side. Well, it's two different kind of ends of the same problem. For the younger set, the investment cryptocurrency is more of a direct investment. So if you can imagine a younger person, maybe doesn't have a lot of capital, but is on their phone all the time and sees this great investment opportunity. Whoa, I can do crypto, or I can do direct investments, and I don't have to call, sorry guys, the bankers and have them tell me I don't have enough money or experience or knowledge or understand what they're saying to make an informed investment. So do I want to feel like I don't know what I'm doing and have someone tell me I don't know what I'm doing? Or do I just want to click this button here and invest my money directly? Well, that's why it's number 2 on the scam list for these folks. Investment cryptocurrency on the more seasoned side is generally kind of a vehicle wrapped in another scam. So if you look at the second one, it's romance scams, right? We'll get to romance scams more fully later. But as a part of the targeting, that investment cryptocurrency side is the vehicle after they've kind of snagged you in the romance scam. So it's kind of like, you know, the younger romance scam would be, oh, my darling, they don't understand our love, don't tell your parents. Now we're kind of, oh, my darling, they wouldn't understand my love, don't tell your kids, right? Because, and this would be very, very sad because my parents have been married almost 60 years, but if my mom came to me and said she was talking to some guy online who won't come and hang out with her but needs $500 a month, what would she say to me, right? Don't be giving anybody $500 a month for your attention. So that's kind of a little glimpse into how scammers target their victims. And of course, online purchasing gets us all. Anybody who's clicked or bought things online has probably, oh, that's such a cute like little couch. Oh, how neat. What a great price. And you find out it's a great couch for a dollhouse when it comes in the mail. Or you don't get it at all. So everybody has fallen victim to either purchasing a scam item or not checking dimensions or checking close enough to something they're buying online. So the next two slides, got my holiday break brain coming back on. It's the first presentation out of the holiday, so bear with me. Next two slides are our red flags of a scam. Because scammers are ever evolving, there may be new scams that come out before you get another presentation. But if you can recognize the components of the scam, you should be good to go. So the first is an unusual payment method. And we've listed the most common types of unusual payment methods. Wire transfer, it's still out there, not as high as it used to be. Prepaid money cards, gift cards, crypto, peer-to-peer payment. So that's like your Venmo or Zelle, Cash App. Basically, if you normally would pay for a service with anything other than these items. Example we like to give is if you're getting the grandparents scam and they say they need an Amazon gift card to bail you out of jail. Just let that sit with you for a moment. I've been informed by multiple law enforcement agencies that no, we in the state or the county or the city, we're still boring. We're not hip enough to receive gift cards as payment. We're going the old-fashioned route, cash or check or credit card. So if someone's calling you saying they need a tow, bailed out of jail, some kind of purchase that you would normally pay with a credit card, with a check, with cash, and they're asking for crypto, gift card, wire transfer, that's a big red flag. Requests for personal information. I was definitely raised in the stranger danger era. We had the crime dog. Was it McGruff, I think? And I even had, when I was little, my mom was a wonderful seamstress, and I'd have little dresses with schmocking on the front that had my name on it. Scammers wouldn't have needed that. I'd walk up and talk to anybody. Worked out well for me. But don't give out your personal information. If someone is asking you, particularly if they say there's someone who should have the information anyway, they are asking you for any of your personal identifiable information. Your name, your birth date, your social security number, your Medicare number, your address, your bank account number. Anything real interesting, don't give it to them. Pressure to act immediately. I'm not sure if there is an international scammers convention. I would have it in the Caribbean because that sounds real nice right now. But it all seems to center around 24 hours. The most common time period that we've seen thrown out there is you need to do some action within 24 hours, or some bad action, will happen to you. So if they're trying to rush you into a decision, that's another red flag. Then asking you to keep the conversation a secret, that definitely does occur most often in our romance scams, also sometimes in our investment scams. So if they don't want you to tell anybody about it, generally the reason is it's no good. I think it's one more. Ha-ha. Next group of red flags. Guarantee that you will make money. So just like my description of the PayPal job ad, if it sounds too good to be true, what is it? Yep. Requesting a large down payment. That's back to our friends in the contractor scams. Prior to being at the AG's office, I was at the state treasurer's office for a long time, and we did financial education. Super fun. Might not sound fun. It was. It was fun. And we'd say no more than 25% up front. You are not floating these people's business. You are asking for a service. Avoid using a contract or leaves key details out of the contract. Say I work for attorneys without saying I work for attorneys. Right there. We're going to talk about a little bit about contracts, but think of that as you wouldn't hand over a signed blank check and trust the person to fill in all the details, right? Same thing with a contract. You don't want to leave any of those little blanks left out. And some of the ways they try to convince you to do that is to say, well, there's only one special deal today, and my manager is on vacation, maybe in the Caribbean with the scammers conference. We don't know. But they weren't there to approve it. So if you'll just sign, I'll fill in those percentages after I get them approved. Asking you to send money out of the country. This one's a difficult one because it can be the most obvious sign and the most hidden. So if they're saying, which is such a bummer, you've won the Canadian lottery. Awesome. I've always wanted to win the lottery. If I can't win ours, why not the Canadians? Sure. Bummer. We are not eligible to win the Canadian lottery. And just like the old sweepstakes scams, they will ask you to prepay either the taxes or a fee or something like that. So you know you're sending money out of the country because you're, prepaying the Canadians for their great lottery win. Other ones, sometimes a grandparent scam, other romance scam, investment scam, you may never know where the money is going. And then asking you to transfer money to protect your money. This scam, they call it a lot of different things. It used to be a money mule scam. Now, and I don't know why they came up with this name, but it's a pig butchering scam. Very graphic. I think the idea is they're trying to fatten you up before you are relieved of your money. So if they ever call and say that they're from your bank and your bank account is compromised, so you got to move your money right away before your bank shut down and you can't access your money. I know now I feel... Sorry, guys. The scam works because people don't want to lose access to their money. And the bank has very good reasons for shutting down your account and trying to make sure no further damage is held, right? They're trying to protect your money when those things happen. But scammers also know people get impatient. So if they try to tell you and make this false emergency of needing to move your money right away, otherwise you're going to lose access to it. And when are they going to do it? On the weekend, when you can't call, or when the bank is closed, right? So don't ever move money just to save your money. And then, of course, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably a scam. And I would add to this, if it sounds too bad to be true, it's probably a scam. Okay, imposter scam. Well, we'll try. We'll see. Have you come back from vacation, little computer? I'm going to try to do a video. Sometimes they work. Sometimes they don't. If they don't, I'll just tell you what happened in the video.
Explain that to me again. Explain that to me again, please.
All right, here's the deal. I'm gonna pretend I'm with the IRS. Say you owe back taxes and threaten you with jail time. Scare you into giving me your money. I also need your social security number too. Then I really take you to the cleaners.
Unfortunately, it's never this obvious. That's why we're here. Dedicated to protecting Ohio families against frauds and scams. Get the facts you need today at ohioprotects.org.
Okay, so I'll give you a 75%, buddy. You tried. Imposter scams. These may be one of the most common scams that are out there. It's when the scammer pretends to be a trusted entity in order to separate you from either your money or your personal identifiable information. So note, some of the difficulties with an imposter scam is you can't always trust your caller ID. If you look down and it says Social Security on it, there is a very inexpensive app that the scammers can procure that makes whatever they want come up on your caller ID. So from whatever phone they're calling from, they can make it seem like they're me. If there's any scammers out there, don't call the audience members and say you're me following up on my presentation. All right? So if you get a call, and particularly we hear this a lot from folks who have fallen for the grandparent scam, like 99% of them said, well, my grandkid had never called me for money before that, so I really wanted to help them out. That's one of the keys, right? One, they want to get you emotionally involved. Two, they want to force you into a quick decision. So if it is something that is unusual, stop and think. And there's nothing wrong with hanging up on them. I know. Family members who come with audience members generally don't like it when I tell their family members to hang up on them. But sever the connection and then call back knowing a number that you know to be correct for that person. Grandparent scam. So the traditional grandparent scam has been, they will call you and say, hey, Grandma, this is, and then they wait. People don't like uncomfortable silences. People tend to fill that silence with information. So if the scammer says, hey, Grandma, it's, what are you saying? Hopefully click. I want to hear click. But, Johnny, is that you? Yeah, Grandma, it's me. Yep. Or even worse, and hopefully your grandkids don't do this to you, hey, it's your favorite grandson. Yikes. You don't want to give an answer to that one either. So, that's how they have been contacting you in the past. What you want to do is make sure that even if you think it sounds like them, because here we're walking into grandparent scam 2.0. Another part of wonderful technology is, it used to be, anybody go to presentations that you'd hear people say, don't ever say yes on the phone? Well, now it's don't ever say any words at all. Because the technology has improved from going from don't say yes, where they could just record your voice saying yes, to if you say about 30 seconds worth of any words, they can feed it into an app. Then they have your voice and can type out a script to make that voice say whatever they'd like. I know. So what do grandkids like to do? Well, that's maybe too broad of a question. One of the things grandkids really like to do is post videos online while they're talking or dancing or singing. And if they do not have their privacy settings locked down, which happens because these kids have grown up with the internet and being public in that manner, scammers can capture that. So, if you get calls from your grandkids or anyone else saying that they are a family member and they're asking for money over the phone, it may be best just to have a family protocol as to what to do with it. Obviously, you don't want to turn down someone who's in desperate need, particularly if you think it's a family member. But it is a big area of exposure currently. So whatever works best for you and your family. If it's don't ask me for money over the phone without us talking about it first. If it's a password, whatever works best for you, as long as you can feel confident that you know who the person on the other end of the phone is. Or email or text message.
60 minutes overtime.
Nora, we're not talking to you today. Depending on how you communicate. I mentioned briefly sweepstakes scam. My personal favorite scam, the scam that I would most likely fall victim to, because I like to play a lottery scratch off on payday. It's great. I can win up to $500,000. And, you know, it might only be $375,000 after you take taxes. That's okay. I can figure out how to spend that. I can, and I like to play bingo. It's a bingo scratch-off. Love it. Also, a lot of prize sweepstakes scams kind of hone in on that sense of hope and wouldn't it be great to have a windfall? So, couple different ways these happen. It can happen in the mail and it can happen online. So you're in the mail sweepstakes. Does anybody remember Publishers Clearinghouse? Right? If Ed McMahon is calling you, what has gone wrong? Yeah, Ed McMahon isn't around. That's one problem. What the scammers can do is replicate the Publishers Clearinghouse. So you get all the same fun stickers, guarantees, mail, all that. So if you fill out the form of the fake one, send it back to them, they're going to send you a smaller envelope. Not as much fun stuff to do. But it's going to tell you you are a guaranteed semifinalist. How cool is that? Minimum amount you can win in the semifinal round, $10,000. Way better than my fake PayPal job, right? All you have to do is send. And it depends on the scammer. It could be as little as $5, maybe up to $200, to guarantee your spot in the semifinal round. Now, if you send these people money, it's like answering spam calls. They know they got somebody on the hook. So even if you only lose $5, which you might think, I'll send them $5 for entertainment, you are going to be on the please call list. Forget the do not call list. Please call these people because they will entertain you. So if you ever are entering a contest or sweepstakes and they ask you to prepay, whether they say it's an entry fee, taxes, whatever they're calling it, you know it's a scam because it's illegal for you to prepay to win a sweepstakes. Which is another fun fact, which is why when McDonald's has their Monopoly game, my favorite fast food game ever. You can just go in and ask them for one ticket. You don't have to buy the whole meal. Now, they'll only give you one, but they have to give you a ticket. You'll get more if you buy the super meal or whatever's happening. But yeah, go in and try to win some free fries. And then again, if you hadn't ever entered the prize and sweepstakes, which we tend to forget about when someone is telling us we won a bunch of money, if you never entered the contest, what is the likelihood of you winning? Such a bummer. I don't even like it. The other part is electronic. If you're on your phone, and it tends to come up a lot more if you're taking quizzes. I had to stop taking online quizzes. My coworker was like, it is not that important for you to know which Harry Potter house you would be in, or if you were a daiquiri, what kind you would be. You're going to get so much spam. Stop answering those quizzes. Okay, fine. Bottom line on that one, if you get a pop-up while you're scrolling, whether it's reading an article, taking quizzes, whatever, don't click on it. Nothing good happens from clicking on a pop-up. If there is really that great sale, or you could win a free Walmart gift card, that will be on the actual website. It won't be through a pop-up. A few minutes. Oh, whoopsie. Some of the other, we touched on these a little bit. Overpayment scam. Generally, if you're selling something, say you're selling it on an online platform, and you're selling the item for $500, and the person sends you $700, because you're all lovely, honest people, you will contact that person and say, hey, it's $200 more than what I was charging. They'll go, oh my gosh, so much shopping last week. I sent the wrong amount to you. I must have it flip-flopped. Just send me the $200 back. So you're going to be paying them $200 when they were supposed to paying you $500. So not only will the item that you're trying to sell never be picked up, bummer, particularly if it's like a sleeper sofa from the 80s that's in the basement and you just want someone to take it away. No experience there. You're also paying them $200. Work from home scam, that is generally any type of remote work where they string you along saying, oh, here's a great job, but you have to buy this equipment, take this training course, maybe secret shopper, you have to spend your money first and we'll reimburse you. Right. So if you are online looking for additional income, make sure you run who those employers are through a couple of databases before you accept any offers. Crypto. Crypto is coming. I'm not that familiar with it. I'm a little bit. I got to write an article on it. It was about a year ago, so the retention of it is short. But couple things to think about when you think about crypto. If someone is trying to convince you they have access to your digital wallet, they have security codes, they can get in your bank account. First thing to remember, if you do not have any cryptocurrency, you do not have to worry about it, right? That's one of the big scams that we saw coming out of COVID was people saying there's a really expensive item in your Amazon account, and if you don't take it out of your basket, then you're going to get charged for it. Well, people were panicking. even people who didn't have Amazon accounts. And if that's how Amazon worked, I would be in debt for the rest of my life because I like to let things hang out in the basket to see if I want to buy them or not. Right? Second thing, basically, we're back to guaranteed to make money. Or if the only reason, and this goes for all investments and purchasing any product, if the only reason why you are interested in a product, whether it's for investment or for purchase, is that somebody you think is really cool, maybe it's your favorite sports star, actor, whoever, they're endorsing it, find an additional reason. Because, like when we were talking about it being very easy to replicate someone's voice now, images also. So there have been a number of cases where celebrities have basically been spoofed, and they didn't even know their image or their voice had been used to promote a product or an investment. So just do a little bit more digging on that, because even if you know, like, trust that person, it may not actually be really being endorsed by that person.
Tech support.
Shh. Computer repair scam. This is a scam that will not go away. I just got email notifications about my McAfee antivirus account being out of date and I owed $90. None of that is true. I think scammers either, and this may be giving them too much credit, they might remember that in the late 90s, early 2000s, if you worked in an office, one, particularly in state government, only a few people were allowed to have the internet because all of your bosses were decided that if we give them the internet, all they're going to do is watch March Madness. I won't say guilty or not guilty on that one, but they were very restrictive about who had internet access. Then it got to be a big deal. Usually people in communications or outreach did, because that's how communication was changing. But you had to buy all these individual licenses to make sure that you weren't getting viruses from the big bad web out there. All of that technology has changed, but scammers still take advantage of that little nugget in the back of your brain going, yeah, this used to be really expensive to have to pay for individual licenses for that. I don't want mine to be expired. Well, you don't have one currently, most likely. Most likely, it's just your operating system that automatically updates as long as you keep it plugged in overnight when your phone yells at you to do so. So be wary about anyone who is contacting you. If you have a problem with your computer, you want to take it to get fixed, awesome, do that. I trust you to do that. I do not think you need emails from strangers telling you to do that. Relationship scams. There's a couple different ones. Friends and family scams. Those are the ones that bum me out the most, because you hate to think of friends and family members taking advantage of you. They're very difficult to spot because initially it looks like, and it generally is a younger family member or friend, that they are just being a really great friend or relative. You know, if I was scamming, say, my mom, I can't even lie about my height to her, so I don't think that's going to happen. But if I were scamming my mom, it would look like I was just a really good daughter. You know, oh, look at Katie who comes over to take her out to lunch. Oh, she's doing all the grocery shopping now. She is taking care of the bills. She does, her mom doesn't have to worry about the bills anymore. When they come in or come out, she set it up all automatically. And what will tend to happen is that person kind of becomes a gatekeeper or a barrier to all of the person who's being taken advantage of, friends and family. So if you notice that you have friends or family members that seem to be cordoned off and one person is really making sure that they are the in and out, that is something to look at. It's not a guarantee that they are being scammed. But there's that, and then unusual purchases or behavior financially. So say if your dad was someone who always wrote checks for bills or made sure that they had a certain amount in savings. If any of that behavior changes drastically, it's worth investigating. Romance scams. Told you I'd get back to these. The number one thing to remember about romance scams is if you have not met this person in person, you are not in a relationship with them. I know that is the meanest way to possibly say it, but I had a woman come up to our booth at the state fair, which is kind of amazing because not a lot of people come up to our booth at the state fair. We do not have any cool giveaways. We don't have hand sanitizer. We don't have squeezy balls. We don't have pens. We have some of the great material that you got today. That's enough, right? And on the day I was there, we didn't even have our canine officer. I didn't want to be there without the canine officer. So when someone approached me, I'm like, ooh, they must have a real question. And she did. Her mom, let's see, she was 62. Her mom was like 86, 87. And her mom had been involved in a romance scam for the last couple of years. And the daughter was just at her wit's end. She's like, I keep on telling her, like, this is just ridiculous. She's like, no, it's my boyfriend. And he loves me very much. And she's like, Mom, you don't have money to be giving a stranger on the internet. Here's my daughter PSA. Yes, I'm sorry for being a bad teenager, but please listen to me when I'm an adult. That's part of the problem, right? Sometimes when it's family members, we don't listen so well. So she goes on to tell me that the daughter looked up this guy's profile online. 5 different names with the same profile picture came up. We're not out of the woods yet, folks. She says, Mom, he's 5 different guys. He's lying to you. Stop sending him money. Oh, Mom says, oh, my poor sweetheart. He must be a victim of identity theft. So, that is what can happen when those relationships develop and the scam goes on too long. The woman who is the victim of a scam because she's giving money to someone under false pretense, if that guy, even though he's not who he says he is the only person who calls every day or sends messages every day or makes time every day, it starts to build collateral with the person. So they're not listening to the daughter, the son, the friend, particularly the daughter or the son, because as soon as the daughter or the son starts criticizing this new relationship, they've got, 60 years worth of ammunition not to listen to that kid? Well, this is the kid that couldn't even turn their homework on time. Why am I going to listen to them about my new friend? So just beware that this is a common scam out there. It has absolutely no reflection on the person. This is why a lot of the times it goes underreported, because it's a double hurt. One, it's the loss of the relationship that you thought you had. And two, loss of money. And then depending on the relationship that you have with the family, there can be worries that now, well, they're going to try to put me somewhere where I'm being taken care of because they're not going to believe I can make great decisions. All of these things are just things to look out for before they kind of tumble into a bigger thing that can't be taken care of. If you have friends or family members that you are observing this behavior and talking to them has not been productive, you can talk to folks at the county's senior center or with our county council on aging. And those numbers, general contact numbers, are in your pamphlets, because sometimes it takes a professional, not a daughter, not a son, not a friend, to talk through this with someone. So that is a great resource out there, and it is my most hated scam. Social media scams, a little bit lighter, a little bit easier. Two different kinds. One, usually it's, I see a lot, Ray-Ban sunglasses. Every spring they say, oh, Ray-Bans for $19.99. Click here. We'll add about $100 to that, and you might come close to the actual price. And I do know someone who does know better and was nice enough to share this example with me. She knows better. And she said, you know, I got scammed Valentine's Day buying one of those fancy Dutch ovens that usually cost like $300, and it said it was a flash sale for $75, and it was just fake. So even people who know can sometimes click on the wrong button and buy the wrong product. So particularly if you're finding any of these great deals on social media, it's advantageous not to just click and follow the link there, to get out of social media and go directly to the store's website to see if the store is also having that sale. Okay, I've got 2 minutes. Quickly, ID theft. If you have been a victim of a scam, it is possible you can become a victim of identity theft. One of the ways that you can prevent that is if you routinely check your credit report. If you do not have access to a secure connection or an individual computer where you're at, you can generally go to your local public library, talk to the librarian to find out which computer it is, but they have programs that will scrub all of your personal identifiable information off. Librarians are our friends. They will help you out. That's my quick. Now, do you all have any questions for me? Yes. Do you mean on the back of your credit card? Okay, so his question is, I'm going to throw this one over to you. You have to give your 3-digit security code on the back of your credit card for purchases. How is it secure if you're giving out the security code? I'm going to give any. I generally say it's because they have to know that you are the person with the physical code. And other websites can be hacked where your number might come off, but not the code on the back. So they know it's the person who has the physical card. Any?
Oh, I just broke it.
Oh, that's fine.
All right, Katie, you are correct. It's so they know that the physical card is in the possession of the person they're talking to. One of the, out on the, out on the dark web, which I don't know how to get to, but I read about this.
Same.
You can buy 25,000 credit card numbers for $25. So out there, obviously there's criminals out there that create 25,000 credit card numbers, 16-digit numbers, and then they just have random 3-digit codes and random expiration dates on those with those, which probably most of them don't match up, but it's, there's people out there that will say, okay, I'll take 25,000 shots for $25, and maybe one of these will come up. And, but that it's just a random security code that has been created and put on your card just to verify that the card is physically present when they do that.
Thank you. Yes.
Can I ask,
Yeah.
you do a lot of work, I can see, warning people about what they shouldn't do to be scammed. Does the Attorney General's office also go after the scammers in any way? Do you do any prosecutions? Do you do any effort to arrest and to put in jail the people who are doing this?
Well, it depends on what kind of scam it is. It depends on if it falls under what our office is charged to do. So we always take all the scam complaints in and follow trends. I think we did have the one I can think of, a prosecution of a data center that the calls were going out through our robocall initiative. One of the difficult things is a lot of these scams originate overseas. And that kind of puts it into federal jurisdiction. And you have to lose way more than I would be comfortable losing to, like, over 6 figures to spur an investigation. So in areas where, like the contractor scams, they're local. If we can, work with local law enforcement to get those people and get them into court, we can do that. But it just depends on, a lot of it is where they are and what kind of crime they're actually committing and whether that falls in our particular section under the consumer protection section statute, like where we have the ability and the authority to do something about it. Yes. Absolutely, yeah, I'll stick around. Thank you. I was going to lead into that. Even if it's just you don't want to ask the question in front of all your friends and you'd rather just have a moment with me, I am happy to stick around. I'm not anxious to jump back in the car and drive down 71. So yeah, happy to chat. And so, you want me to...
I haven't heard anything about Nigeria recently.
Oh man, the Nigerian prince, he's still out there. That poor man, he has been trying to transfer his $1 million out of the country. It was like a guy who kept on telling me, I went to the University of Cincinnati, and I swear this guy graduated with us. He would come out and ask for money because he had to get to Columbus. He could have walked to Columbus about 7 times by the time we graduated. Same story. Same with our friend from Nigeria. Okay, go ahead, in the back.
I have a very recent experience and very strange. I moved to a different apartment in this facility and I was told to change my address. So I requested the change in address, and lo and behold comes a site, I would it was spurious or maybe it is true, where they said that I have to pay $64. This is a real instance. Pay $64 to get started on changing my address. So I paid the $64 and started the way towards changing my address. Now, as soon as I asked for that, they started saying that you can change your passport, you can change your social security, you can change this, and you pay $8 for this, $9 for that. So I went on, and luckily my friend, social worker, she said, no, that's not right. So I called my son, and he said, let me try it. And he got only $1.25 to change your address. So I was going the wrong way, but I had no idea. I thought it came right when I asked for it, and that was the first instance and first site that opened, so it must be correct. It had all the hallmarks of United States Postal Service, so I just want to know where does this kind of scam fall? Or is it a scam, or is it maybe not a scam? It is just that you are directed to a commercial wrong site where they wanted more money than really it was worth.
Well, I'm not sure what your starting point was, but in general, when you're searching for something online, about the first 5 entries are paid advertisements. So you kind of want to look, and now they have to put paid advertisement next to it. So that's one thing to look at. The second thing, anytime you're being charged for something that you kind of feel like you shouldn't be charged for, speak to your direct institutions first. So, an example, if somebody wanted to charge you for credit monitoring, your bank may already provide that for you as something that you already do as a customer. So check first with the people that you work with before you engage a service. Because you're right, it does not sound like, I'm not sure where they were trying to get you to change your address from. If there's any kind of moving fee within this facility, I'm not involved with that. But yeah, it does not sound like that's something that is correct.
And actually, looking at the time, I think I do want to say a huge thank you to Katie.
Thank you.
And a huge thank you to Buckeye Bank for bringing her here today. And you're willing to stay, but I know some people need to have appointments after, so it's okay if some of you need to go, but if some want to hang and ask more questions, that's great. And also,
I'll be up here.
I want to let you know, I'm Kim from Kendal at Oberlin, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have about Kendal or to help you find your car, because I know some people had challenges parking, so please look for me or Dale, and we'll help you with getting to your car.
I will need
All right.
help later.
Yes, okay. So thank you so much. How about one more big hand here for Kate?